Welcome to the Working with Investors Finding Deals class. What I want to make sure that you guys know is how to find deals in the MLS, but more importantly, where you can create comparables and make sure that those properties are somewhere at market value, but more importantly, lower than market value. That way, if an investor wants to submit an offer, you have the right game plan in order to create a comparable. So the main focus in the Finding Deals class is we look at foreclosures in specific, such as short sales. I'm going to explain what that means once we get into the MLS. And I'm going to go over the REO properties that are also in the MLS and letting you guys know what that means. And I'm going to provide you guys a lot of great information. The main goal today is to listen in. I'm going to provide you guys with a lot of great information whenever you're working maybe a foreclosure deal and or how to best reach out to that homeowner that's under distress and provide them with several different options. The next thing that I'm going to put in the chat real quick is the SFR, short sale foreclosure resource that you can get directly with the NAR. Now, we typically, I've noticed, and I've been here with the board for about 9 to 10 years, I don't think that we've necessarily really offered the SFR as far as in person. I want to say that we may be doing so towards the end of the year, but you can, of course, take it online. You can go directly to NAR's website, hover your mouse over education, move down to the section, designations and certifications. And then when you do so, go directly down towards the bottom of the page. You're going to notice it took me all the way down. You're going to see the short sale and foreclosure resource. Why is this important? Whenever you're working with someone that is under distress, or maybe you are, dealing with the property that the homeowner unfortunately lost the property, the bank won the property at auction. You want to make sure that you know several things. The limitations of what you can do representing the seller, and you want to make sure you know, for example, if the bank won the property at auction, meaning the lender, you want to make sure you know all of the required paperwork to represent the lender whenever you reach out directly to the servicer and you list the property at the MLS. They're going to go over the big lenders such as Fannie Mae in particular, and we're going to cover a lot of that also today. All right, there's another one. I'm all about, again, free stuff. If you go to the main website, miamirealtors.com, in your gateway, let me go ahead and sign in. Thank goodness for encryption. All right. There's another certification that I want to make sure that I tell you about. It is in the gateway. Let me find that for you real quick. It is located right here. It is another certification. It's from the CDPE. It is the Certified Distressed Property Expert. I hovered my mouse over it, and you're going to see in the black section in white, it says no cost, for free. So what that means is you guys can take the CDPE certification. Once you go to checkout, you would just enter the coupon code. I believe it's Miami lowercase, and what that's going to do is allow you to take the CDPE course absolutely for free. However, there's a cost to once you pass. I'm sure everyone's going to pass. There is, of course, a cost to apply to receive the CDPE and a yearly membership. It is, I would consider it a membership. What that's going to do is provide you with a wealth of resources constantly each and every month that the CDPE provides, including worksheets and game plan should you ever want to reach out to the servicer of the loan and take on the property that the bank is now in possession of. And then you can go ahead and list that in the MLS. They just provide a lot of great resources. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. You want to make sure that you know your market, right? If you're in a seller's market, that is not necessarily a market for an investor. So you always want to keep that in mind. But and a lot of investors like to see is lots of months of inventory. What that will mean is that the seller is going to have to kind of compete with other properties that are on the market. And then what they're going to do is kind of lower that price and or potentially lower underneath the market value. So what you always want to make sure that you guys do, I went over this yesterday if you guys took the Matrix 101 and 201, but I want to go ahead and show you real quick. We're not going to spend too much time here, but on the main website, we have access to miamirealtors.com's stats, our statistical reports. All right, what you want to make sure that you do is know your market for whatever area that you serve. For example, Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, Martin, and St. Lucie. This little section here highlighted in blue, this is specifically for single family homes. Again, it is a general overlook of all of the markets in the Miami-Dade area for single family homes. And it's letting me know that the month of supply right here as we speak for single family homes is at 4.4 compared to the previous year back in April of 2023 at 3.3. Why am I showing you this? This is letting me know that we're still technically in a seller's market for single family homes. However, if I come down to Miami's townhomes and condos, we have 8.3 months of supply, meaning we have more than our fair share of available condos and townhomes that are listed in the MLS. This would be, if I ever were to, steer an investor in the right direction, I would let them know, hey, I think we're going to find more deals. Specifically, I'm going to say that this has less to do with townhomes, more to do with condos, due to assessments, etc. But we're showing a very solid buyer's market where we should be able to find deals. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the Miami Gateway. All right, I'm going to go directly into CoreLogic Matrix from here. And then what we're going to try to do is find deals. We're going to first start in the short sale market. We're going to move over to search, and then we're going to go right here into this section, RE1, RE2, single family condo. Now, I'm going to give you two different pictures to look at, two different ways of observing the information. When we're in Matrix, when we're searching for distressed property, it means that the homeowner reached out to an agent. For example, a short sale means that they reached out to an agent, or an agent reached out to the homeowner, and then we discovered that the homeowner is under distress. It means that they're behind on their mortgage payments. I'm going to go over in greater detail. It means that the agent listed the property in the MLS. Okay, when we start searching. Once we go into some of the searches, I want to make sure that I mention we're going to go into IMAP. IMAP is going to give you a much larger picture of all of the homeowners that are currently under distress, should you ever want to reach out to them and provide them with 3 different tips. I'm going to knock out what those tips are once we get there. All right, so in this scenario, we're going into the MLS. We're specifically going to look at active listings. I'm going to select active status. All right. And then from there, we're going to move down into the section additional fields right here where we see additional fields. We're going to add the fields that you see here at the very top. We're going to add short sale, REO, not Oreos, but REO. I always like to make that joke. We're going to add the field remarks as well as the field restrictions. In order to add these fields, yours is going to be blank. If you haven't added anything, you're going to go right here where you see additional fields. You're going to click on add. And then this is going to be the library where we see available fields. These are going to be the fields that we can add to tailorize the search, narrow down exactly what we want. I'm going to go ahead and put in short sale. Again, once we add the fields, I'm going to explain what these are. We're going to go to short sale, and then we're going to click on add. We're going to also add REO, which is real estate owned. Again, I'm going to explain what those mean. We're going to add the field remarks. Remarks is your absolute best friend when you're performing searches in the MLS. And we're going to add another field by the name of restrictions. Restrictions. All right. Why is restrictions important? I'm going to knock that out straight away. For example, we're doing a condo search, right? We have an investor, maybe it's a foreign national, maybe it's somebody out of New York that wants to buy a condo. We would want to make sure that we can speak to if that investor was to purchase. We can assume if once they tell us that they're not going to move into the property, their goal is to turn it into maybe a rental. We can see if they were to purchase the property using the filter restrictions. I'm going to click on back. That's going to allow us to very specifically see if daily rentals are allowed. We can filter by that. Another one is okay to lease that very first year once they purchase the property. Again, restrictions, super duper important when you're conducting a search for an investor, especially if they want to turn it into an income producing property. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do is, again, active status. We're going to focus on the single family market. We're first going to look at the county of Miami-Dade. All right, we're going to move down to short sale. Then I'm going to tell the system, hey, show me all of the short sales in the MLS. Right now, there is a total within Miami-Dade of 8 in the system. What does that mean? Let me make sure I explain what that means. It means that a homeowner was under distress. They're under distress right now. They're behind on their mortgage payments. And then what they did is they contacted a listing agent, or a listing agent contacted them. And then the listing agent said, hey, I have a couple of different, rather, options, I should say, that are available to you. The great thing since 2020 is, as I'm sure you guys are aware, the banks, the lenders, they are, being a lot more flexible when it comes to missed mortgage payments. The whole forbearance process has been completely modified since the pandemic. Banks are now pushing those missed payments towards the end of the loan once the homeowner reaches out to them, or they spread those upcoming payments over the next set of installments. So that is the reason why we're only seeing about 8 matches at this time within the MLS. Another thing to keep in mind is the cost of living. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Is if the cost of living continues to go up, interest rates continue to go up, the cost of insurance on homes continue to go up, I think that we could see, and I'm not projecting this necessarily, we could see a lot of additional homeowners within the next couple of years needing our help to try to sell the property. So we can mention, again, a couple of different things. Should we want to approach a homeowner that's under distress? Again, we're going to go into IMAP in a little bit. I am going to show you a larger picture of off-market property, meaning they don't have a listing agent, the homeowner, but they received their very first notice called a lease pendant. So I'm going to go over what that is. So a lease pendant, if you guys don't know what that means, it means that the homeowner got their very first notice that they're behind on their mortgage payments. And that typically happens roughly around 4 missed payments. They get that very first notice from the bank. And from there, what we can do is we can search an IMAP, find those homeowners that got that first notice, and provide them with a couple of options. We can say, hey, you could try to contact your bank, see if they might be able to refinance, right? That is one option. The other option comes down to, if you want to sell the property, if we are able to successfully sell the property, you could, again, assuming they want to take on a loan again, you could be requalified to purchase a home within the next 3 to 5 years if we are able to successfully sell your home. So that is the second option. The third option is probably the option that they don't want, which is if we're not able to successfully sell your home, the bank is now set to auction, right? Then the bank could become in possession. However, how that works is, for example, the homeowner misses their mortgage payments. They get that first notice, which is a lease pendant after 4 months. Further down the road, roughly around month 7, they receive a notice of default. Now, that notice of default usually tells them, hey, you got all these missed payments. You need to pay the balance that you haven't paid yet, all those missed mortgage payments. And, oh, by the way, you have an auction date. So that's you typically at month 7, that's called a notice of default. Now, in that scenario, as long as we contact that homeowner, the homeowner wants to sell the property, as long as they reach out to the bank or the lender, as long as they approve the sale, we can list it in the MLS. But I want to take it a little bit, a couple more steps forward, if I may. If we do receive permission from the bank to list it, we would also want to make sure that we receive permission from anyone else that may have a debt on that property. For example, if there's a second mortgage, we have to get their permission. If there is for example, a HELOC, meaning they borrowed against the property, against the equity, we would also have to make sure that we receive their permission in order to list the property in the MLS. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so I just wanted to provide you guys with a little bit of some additional information. All right, so we have right now 8 homeowners that reached out to the bank. They have an agent that listed their property for sale in the MLS. This is low. This is actually low. I typically see for Miami-Dade monthly anywhere from 20 to 30 short sales in the system. So we're a little bit low than normal. The other thing to keep in mind, I want to stress what I mentioned earlier with our stats. You're going to notice for single family homes, we're technically in a seller's market. Now, a lot of the areas do not have a 4.4 month of supply. A lot of the single family areas, they have 2 to 3 months of supply. So that's the reason why yesterday in that Matrix 101, I wanted to make sure you guys knew about a report called the 1004 MC report. If you guys are not familiar with how to run that report, make sure that you go to miamirealtors.com/CMA. And on this CMA page, further down on the right, you're going to have access to the, and this is actually being provided by one of our Miami leaders, George Jalil, the 1004 MC report. That's going to let you know the month of supply in your local market. All right, so let me go ahead and put that there. Why am I mentioning this? Again, I'm looking at single family homes. I have 8. We can assume, based on the fact that we're filtering by short sale, that these homeowners are not able at this time to afford their monthly mortgage payments. So they had an agent list in the MLS. So again, because of that low inventory, we may not find a deal at this time. What do I mean by that? Due to the fact that we have low inventory for single family homes, even those homeowners that are having a hard time keeping up with their mortgage payment, they're actually listing their property at a market value or above. However, we might find short sales in the MLS where the homeowner listed the property with the remaining mortgage balance. So we're going to try to sift through the MLS and find that. So we have 8 right now for short sales in the area of Miami-Dade. Let's go ahead and also include Broward County. And that gave us a little bit more. We have a total of 14 available for us to look at. All right, let's click on condo. I'm just curious. There's a lot more, all right, going on there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click on single family for now. All right, from there, we're going to go directly into the results grid, and we're going to try to find some good deals. Now, once you go into your grid, the very first indication of a good deal is by sorting by list price. We have the most expensive options at the top. Let's go ahead and click on the list price, flip that around so that we can see the more cost-effective options towards the top. However, kind of like what we did in the Matrix 101 class, guys, I want to make sure that you know how truly long some of these properties have been listed in the MLS. So we're going to set up a grid, kind of like what we did in Matrix 101 yesterday, where I made it a little more advanced. All right, so you guys know about DOM. Most of you know about days on market, but I also want to introduce you to another field. I'm going to explain what it is by the name of CDOM. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do is line this up beautifully. Again, we're looking based on Miami-Dade and Broward County. Let's make sure that we can see the city. I'm going to come over to address. I'm going to click in this open space, go down to insert column, under search. I'm going to add the name of the city where these properties are located. I'm going to click on city name. Now I can see where exactly these properties are located. But let's also add days on market. I'm going to go over to ML number. I'm going to move it right here. But again, you can rearrange these fields however you want. But I'm going to put it right over here. I'm going to go to ML number. Once your mouse does this, it's going to turn it to a crosshair. You can click, go down to insert column, under search. I'm going to type in DOM for days on market. All right, the first one we're going to add. We're going to ultimately add both of these. But the first one we're going to add is DOM dash grid. I'm going to click on apply. And I can see how long these short sales have been on the market. All right, we're going to go over to ML number, click, go down to insert column. We're going to search again, DOM, but this time I'm going to include cumulative days on market. Click on apply. All right, from there, what I want to make sure that I do is click on CDOM, click it again. That's going to point the arrow up. That's going to let me see exactly truly how long these properties have been listed. So for example, we have this 3-1. It's priced at $450,000. Again, we're going to resort by price. Don't worry, but I wanted it to sort by CDOM first so I can explain some of this additional information. So we have this property. Again, the first one's a 3-1 in Lake Forest, right here, 3610 Southwest 36th Street. This is what I want to make sure that you guys know about. All right, so the days on market where we see 215, that means that this listing has been on the market itself for 215 days. However, if it was previously listed by another agent or by this same exact agent within 4 months of this listing, it will include additional days on the market, letting us know that this property here has truly been on the market for 560 days. Now, I'm not saying that this is the case for this property, but what we want to make sure is if this is the property that our investor wants, we want to make sure that it's a good deal. To me, it's been on the market for almost 2 years. It's letting me know that this property could be overpriced, or the other thing to keep in mind is there might be violations on the property, permitting issues, code violations, causing the delay of the sale of the property, right? What you would want to do is access the new version of IMAP. The new version of IMAP will let us know if there's any history of code violations. However, if you want a much larger picture, there is a title service that is available. It's called Easy Title, search.com. It is not for free, though. I'm going to click on pricing. This will give you a full breakdown of a property should your investor want to know a lot of the potential issues that they may run into if they were to submit an offer. Now, the main goal whenever we're working with an investor is to understand title issues before we may even want to submit an offer. Why do I say that? We submit an offer. From there, it goes under title, right? There could be an issue pulling out of the deal unless we're in the inspection period, right? But I want to make sure that you guys know that you have access to this. It is easytitlesearch.com. Each report is $54.95 per, or 50 reports would be $39.95 each. Just wanted to provide you with this resource. However, what is beautiful about the new version of IMAP is we can, in the new version of IMAP, actually see a little bit of some information, including if they ever filed a permit, all right, maybe they added an additional bedroom. We can check to see if there was a permit filed for that. And we can also see if there is potentially any kind of code violations now on the property. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do is I just want to make sure you guys know about these fields. This isn't just if you're searching for a distressed property. I would add CDOM whenever I'm searching for any property for a buyer. It's going to tell the truth on how long that property's been listed. All right, so we're going to resort by list price. I'm going to click on it again. That's going to put the more cost-effective options towards the top. All right, and when it's a short sale, what that means is that we might be able to view the property. All right, if it's a short sale, we might be able to go into the property and look at the property directly with their buyer. However, if it's an REO, meaning the bank is now in possession of the property, when they won the property at auction, the bank is not required to allow you to see that property. All right, so this is a short sale. The one where we're going to try to focus on, the square feet is 1,666. The price is $398, and it's been on the market for just at 2 months at 60 days. It is located in Richmond Heights. Let's click on the listing number and try to discover some additional information on this property. So again, I want to make sure I tell you everything that we're doing, all of these exercises that we're doing right now, they're to set you up with success should we ever enter into a distressed market. Due to the low inventory for single family homes, I can't guarantee that we're going to find good deals until we may enter into a foreclosure scenario. All right, so first thing that you want to try to do is to see if there's any attachments. There isn't any, but if there was attachments, we would see 3 papers stacked on each other. And what we would want to try to do is to see if there is a seller's disclosure. I do not want to override how you conduct business, and I do not want to override any recommendations that your broker would want to provide you. But I would suggest something to keep in mind is whenever you're working on a deal directly with the buyer, meaning you're submitting an offer on their behalf, you may want to include a clause. Again, speak to your broker regarding the language, but you may want to include specifically within the one of the clauses, you can say that this offer is subject on the seller providing a seller's disclosure so that we can see the history and condition of that property so that we're not necessarily taking as large of a risk. From here, what we could try to do is see what the multiple listing service is allowing us to see. So it's priced at $398. It is a short sale. It is saying unapproved. Now that could be one of two things. It could mean that the homeowner is under distress. They may have missed a couple of months of payments, and they haven't received that first lease pendants. Or the unapproved could mean that the asking price has been unapproved by the bank. It could mean one of two things. That's the reason why I wanted to go over both scenarios. Now, what we want to try to do is understand the condition of the property. Let's try to get inside of the property. I already see some need of repairs, particularly in this property. We're going to keep going. Definitely needs to be renovated, largely renovated. And that first photo, it did look like there could be, and I'm not saying that there is, could be some issues with the roof as well. So we're going to keep going. Right. Let me go back real quick. Let's see. Bathroom doesn't look too bad, but yeah, definitely tiling would need to be repaired. Right, all right. Okay, so yeah. All right, we're going to go. Yeah, there's definitely some things that need to be done in order to renovate that property. We're going to try to see if it is a deal or not. Let's look, though, specifically at the remarks. It says, this is a short sale. Beautiful single-family home is now available. Looking for a place to call home. This 4-bedroom and 1 bath. It's a must-see, surrounded by spacious yards. Space at least for 4 cars and RV. Broker remarks, super duper important. What is it saying here? For showing instructions, questions, and offers, please contact the seller directly. Okay, this might be a limited. Flat fee is telling me that this is going to be a limited service agreement. Let me double check that though in a moment. Selling agent must send executed documents and settlement documents to info@flat fee. Call or text only 305. Okay, boom. All right. So I'm thinking that this is a limited service. What do we mean by that? It looks like the homeowner reached out to them. They say, hey, I'll add it into the MLS. There it is. It is indeed a limited service agreement. It means that the agent added the listing to the MLS. However, that's all they did for a flat fee. The homeowner is going to have to coordinate showings. All right. So again, know the circumstances. This means that the agent is just listing it in the MLS. The showing instructions are telling us to contact the homeowner. All right. So they're pricing it at $398. What we want to try to do is look at 2 different systems and understand a fair market value in the area to figure out if this property is beneath market value. All right. There's 2 different ways to quickly run a comparable. I want to show you guys the very first option. That's going to be by using IMAP. You can click on IMAP whenever you're looking at any property. You can click on the little IMAP button, or by simply clicking on the folio number, that's going to take you into the IMAP property record. All right. So I'm in the new version of IMAP. Everything that I'm going to show you today, including some of the searches in IMAP, they're all the same in the old version of the IMAP and also in the new version of IMAP. Wanted to make sure to mention that. But I am going to go over this in the new version of IMAP. All right, so this is the property record. I have the property address, the current owner, and the tax mailing address, which tells me that the homeowner is living inside that property. As we noticed, it says that this is unapproved. It's not approved directly, potentially, by the bank. What we would want to do is move down and see if there's a section for foreclosure. There is not a section for foreclosure here. This means that the homeowner is trying to sell the property before the bank sends them a first notice. Again, we're going to look into a property that is completely under foreclosure, where they received their first notice in a moment. But I want to make sure I tell you guys, come here. If we don't see a section right beneath property information that says foreclosure, it means that the homeowner has yet to alert the bank that they're behind on payments, and then they're simply trying to sell the property before they get that very first notice. Again, that is called a lease pendant. All right. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to move to the top right. We're going to click on Find Comparables. We're going to first see what IMAP is saying. All right. Perfect. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're not getting anything back yet. If you're getting something, don't worry. Make sure that you come down to comparison criteria. I want to make sure that we're all looking at the same thing. So come down to comparison criteria. This is where we tell the system to find comparables in the area based on presets. Now, I would suggest to use looking at other comparable property in the area, look at lot sizes and building square feet that is either 20% bigger than the subject property or 20% smaller. And then I would change also my building square feet to be this value as well, which is 20% bigger or 20% smaller. Again, change both of these to 20%. So lot size 20 plus or minus 20%, building area plus or minus 20%. And a good rule of thumb to begin the search is to first search in that same subdivision as well. Why do I say that? Most of the properties in the same subdivision, usually in the same community, have the same architect that designed the property. All right. I would also suggest to search first in the first set of 3 months as well. And that 1004 MC report, if you did take that Matrix 101 yesterday, that lets us know that we can go back a full year and look at the market, right? So what we can do is to see using that 1004 MC report, if we only run across maybe 1 to 2 comparables only going back 3 months, if we've been in the same market 6 months ago, meaning we were still in a rigid seller's market, we could potentially go back 6 months. All right. So I'm not getting anything back in that same subdivision within the past 3 months. What I can go ahead and do is change it to find other comparables that have the same lot building size that are within a half of a mile that sold within the past 3 months. All right. And then once I do that, I'm going to click on update criteria and see if the system provides me with additional comparables, which it did. I went out half of a mile. Whenever you're looking at property that's in a city environment, aka an urban environment, you only want to go out half of a mile. So based on the comparables that we found, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 here. We have 5, but we have these very first 4. They sold with a realtor. That means that the property sold at a higher value. We do have number 5 as well. This one is a off-market property. It may have been sold as a for sale by owner, but we get that additional comparable, and it doesn't have that letter R. All right. So before I break this down and go over this, let's make sure we go over the projected sale price. It's letting us know based on the estimated range, based on value ratio, meaning how much the property is worth according to the assessed value, including taxes. The property in the area on the lowest end are selling at $408,400. It's fairly confident. Again, this is based on the assessed value for taxes at $450,800, and or properties are selling in the area upwards to $525,200. However, we don't want to go by this number. We want to go by tangible sales in the area based on the estimated range based on price per square feet. These are going to be the actual comparable sales in the area. And it's letting us know that homes on the lowest end are selling at $397,700. These are going to be the homes that need some repair, need some kind of modification. It's fairly confident that homes in the area are selling at $453,800 or on the highest end at $588,100. Again, this is based on the comparables that we have listed here. We also have the ability to see the exact prices that these units sold for. As you can see, we have this one sold at $388,000, this one $380,000, number 3 at $490,000, this one at $400,000, this one at $438,000. Now, A lot of these sales, these first two, they sold around the same price. Fourth one sold around that same exact price. However, we have an outlier here, number 3. It sold for $490,000. It did sell with a realtor. What we can do is figure out if this property received a great deal of renovations. Now, our subject property that we're looking at needs a lot of modifications. It needs a lot of upgrades. Now, what we can try to do is make sure that our valuation is on point with number 3, and we can click directly on the folio number and figure out why it sold much higher than other properties in the area. I'm going to click on the folio number. That's going to take me into the property record for that specific unit. And then what I can do is see the listing history. I'm going to click on MLS listing information. All right, when I do that, it's going to let me, oh, wow, yeah. I can already tell by the photos they did some modifications. But let's go down to remarks. Come see this gem in Richmond Heights after having a coffee on your screen porch. So it's got a screen porch. Enter the front door. Boom, these beautiful wood floors will never go out of style. Here we go. Now they're mentioning what they changed. Brand new washer, dryer, along with new roof and AC, which were replaced just a few years ago. So this property has had significant modifications as to where our property needs all of that done. All right, so what we would want to do is eliminate number 3 from our comparables. We would just simply unselect that, and then that's going to modify the prices that we see here. We're going to look at number 4. Again, it's much higher than these other sales. Let's look at number 4 at $438,000. I'm going to click on that folio number. I'm going to go directly into that one. Let me make sure though. 438. This was a for sale by owner. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to access and see any listing information. So what we would want to do next is to gauge how these properties sold at these prices. These did have a realtor. What we want to do is figure out if they are in this more or less the same condition as our subject. All right, so let's look at number 3, priced at $400,000. This is going to be a good threshold price to justify these other two. Let's click on that folio number. Let's go into MLS listing information on this one. And let's see if it's similar to our subject property. We can see some of the photos. All right, we're going to keep moving. A lot of exterior. All right, let's move down though. Let's see what they're saying. Discover your dream home in Miami. This 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom boasts elegance. Plus, I'm going to be honest with you, it's got a lot more bedrooms than our subject property. What we could do though is instead of ignoring bedrooms, we can of course have it provide comparables on the same number of bedrooms from there. But I'm going to go back real quick. Let me close that out. All right. Let me go back into that property that we were just looking at. All right. Let me see what they're saying in the information real quick under the remarks. All right. Let's move down. Okay. With tile floors, 2 living rooms, 5 bedrooms, and a lush yard, it's perfect for family life. Plus, it's near the Miami Zoo. Don't miss this opportunity. All right. Not really mentioning in the photos. I do see that it is kind of in similar condition as our subject property. However, let's go back into the comparable that we ran. We're getting a price point directly based on what IMAP is saying. All right, they're letting us know once we remove that one that sold at $490, it's giving us an estimated range. It's fairly confident that homes in the area, they're selling around $420,000 on the lowest end at $397 or at the highest end at $440,000. So this is IMAP. This is what IMAP's saying. Let's see if RPR is saying more or less the exact same information. So we're going to move over to RPR, the Realtor Property Resource. This is a free service. It's provided within your membership. All right. And it's letting me know, and you do have to register an account. I want to make sure I mention you have to register an account. It is for free. What I want to do is check what the RVM, the Realtor Valuation Module, is saying about this property, the one that we're trying to see if it is a good deal. It's letting us know that based on homes that are selling in the area, it's fairly confident that homes that are selling in the area are worth $402,120. And it's letting me know that it has a maxed out 5-star confidence, which means that RPR is fairly confident that this property, again, the property's in the area. This includes properties that need repairs that are selling in the area and properties that are that maybe did not receive repairs, meaning renovation. It's letting us know that it's 90% sure that the property is worth 402,120. What that tells me, I'm going to be honest, that this property right here is not a good deal. Why do I say that? Because this is going to include all of the properties that are selling in the area, regardless of the condition. And this property needs a great deal of renovation in order to bring it up to standard. All right. So again, that's the very first property that we're going to look at real quick. Let's go ahead and click on Agent Single Line Display. That's going to take us right back to the grid. Let me close this out real quick. As again, I want to make sure I mention one more time, we're probably going to have a hard time finding deals because even these homeowners that are under distress, they're being reinforced by the low inventory in single family homes. They're kind of listing it at market value so that they can get a little, extra money once they exit from the property. But again, these tools that we're doing today is going to set us up with success should we ever enter into a foreclosure market. Let's go ahead and look at number 2 in Opelika. It is a 4.2. The square footage this time, though, it does have a little asterisk. This means that the square footage is per what the county says. Let's go ahead and look at number 2 real quick. All right. First, not really getting any good photos of the property. Actually, matter of fact, we're kind of seeing the property from the other side of the street. So this is what I meant by these type of property are your buyer is taking a risk. It is priced at 400,000. It was off of the market. It is back on the market. Possibly the homeowner made some modifications, but let's go down. Let's see what they're saying. Remarks: investor special. Property needs work, needs some structural repairs, but has good bones to be an amazing investment property. This home offers a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Possible efficiency can be made into a studio. So they're letting us know that this property needs some help. We don't have any attachments. It is priced at 400,000. Let's go back into IMAP real quick. Click on that folio number and see if this is a good deal or not. Let's click on Find Comparables. All right. And let's this time not ignore bedrooms. I'm going to tell the system we're going to approach it more like an appraiser. I'm going to say comparables in the area. They need to have the same bedrooms. Click on Update. And I got nothing for the same bedrooms. This is a 2-1, probably a unique style property in the area. What we could try to do, though, is, again, because single family homes have been in a seller's market for more than a year, we could try to go back 6 months, click on Update Criteria, and do we get anything back? No, we don't. All right, so we're going to have to say, hey, let's go ahead and ignore the bedrooms and just see what it provides us. Let's see what it provides us. Again, this is a 2-1. Let's move down. These are 3-2s. This is a 3-1, 3-2, 3-1. And it's letting me know, this is why it's important to still go back and remove the bedroom requirement. It's letting me know properties that are, all of these are 3 bedrooms, meaning an extra bedroom. The valuation's coming back at 413,100, telling me that this property that is a 2-1 straight away, if it's in good condition, is over. But let's also click on RPR on that Realtor Property Resource button real quick and try to see if they're saying something a little bit different. They're saying that the property, again, 5-star confidence, guys, valuation systems, they can be hit and miss, but the RPRs, valuation module, I've heard this from brokers, I've heard this from agents, that if it's at 5 stars, you could do you could actually more or less list the property around that price. It is coming back with, again, 90% at 393,910, was updated the 1st of this month. However, it has gone down by 0.71%. They're asking 400,000. The valuation, again, this is looking at any type of condition property. It is overpriced. All right, but they're saying, here's the thing though, they're saying 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, but the county, let me go back real quick. The county is saying that this is a 2-1. This could be a where they added some additional bedrooms, guys. So do me a favor, make sure that you go into the property tax information. This is a part of the new version of IMAP. Scroll down and see in this section building information. This is going to let us know if the homeowner filed for any permits to make modifications to the home. So right here we have building information. We don't have anything here letting us know that the homeowner made modifications to the property here. We don't have that. We just have the fact that it is a 2-1 property of this recording. Again, I'm teaching you. I want to make sure that we understand what we're doing. We're trying to look at different things. They're saying it's a 4-2. Here's the thing, though. They never requested permission, meaning permits, in order to make modification to the property. These are the type of things to look at. Again, this is exclusive to the new version of IMAP. We have access to the building information and permit history. It's not showing us anything. All right. Okay. So again, this is how we do a quick little search within the MLS. I'm going to go back to criteria real quick. We're doing active single family. We're looking specifically in the area of Broward County, Miami-Dade. And we looked at those homeowners that are under distress. They reached out to an agent. Some of them requested the bank in order to list it in the MLS. Some of them, went ahead and tried to list it before they alerted the bank from there. That is an IMAP. All right, so we're just looking at the homeowners that reached out to an agent that listed the property in the MLS. The next thing that I want to show you is, should you ever want to reach out to homeowners that received their very first notice, meaning that very first notice called a lease pendant, that they're behind on their mortgage payments. I want to show you a full list of homeowners. Should you want to contact them and try to have them list up the unit in the MLS, there is a way to farm and find those homeowners in IMAP. You would go specifically in the section foreclosure. Again, foreclosure, this section right here, when you're searching, it means that the homeowner is still in possession of the property, but they received their very first notice called a lease pendant. Again, that's typically after 4 months of missed payments, but we as agents, we can represent that homeowner all the way until auction date. If we're not able to have the property sale, it's going to go to auction, right? However, if you have an offer that comes in, something to keep in mind, if you're inputting a listing into the MLS, an offer comes in, you want to make sure that you know the bank can take up to, and I say this respectfully, up to a month in order to get back to you as the listing agent regarding that offer. So I want to make sure I mention, you want to communicate that to the potential buyer's agent. Hey, I sent it in, but you have to keep in mind, bank has to approve the asking price of your buyer, and they typically can take several weeks. Why do I mention that? The other reason why I mention that is maybe the auction date of the property is fast approaching. What you want to make sure that you do from there is contact the county, let them know, hey, this has to happen before the auction date. You have to say, hey, I have an offer that came in. Can you push out that auction date? Once that auction date comes, you get an offer, they're not going to allow that for you to change the auction date. It's going to be rigid at that point. All right, so if you want to find homeowners, again, we only saw 8 in Miami-Dade that listed their unit in the MLS, and I think we saw about 5 in Broward that listed in the MLS, but I want to show you the bigger picture of homeowners that received their very first notice that missed their payments. All right, we're going to do foreclosure search. However, we're going to look specifically in the Miami-Dade County. I'm going to switch this to Miami-Dade. Again, foreclosure, this is where you go. Foreclosure is the filter that we use to find homeowners that need our help in order to sell the property. All right, so we did foreclosure search, Miami-Dade County, Florida. All right, from there, what we're going to go ahead and do is repurpose any of these fields. You can change this one, any of them to whatever you want, anything that you want. You click it, there's going to be a list that you can use. But let's make this easy. We're going to end up using the filing date. That's important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the loan amount, and then I'm going to select in specific lease pendants. I'm going to tell the system I want to find those homeowners that got their first notice. Lease pendants equal to. I'm going to tell the system yes. And then I want to show you guys the homeowners that received their first notice in Miami-Dade for single family homes. So I'm going to go under property use code, single family, starting since the first of the year, meaning January 1st of 2024. So again, we select property location, the county. We told the system, yes, find me homeowners that received their first notice, going all the way back to January 1st of this year, but specifically for single family homes. And then from there, I'm going to click on start search. Since the first of the year, there has been a total of, we have the number right up here, 660 homeowners that received their very first notice that they are behind on their mortgage payments. Now, these are going to be the homes here, right? We see the filing date. We can see if there's an upcoming auction date. As I mentioned, that's typically after 7 months of missed payments. But again, banks are flexible. Sometimes you may not see an auction date after that notice of default, but I want to show you that you can find it. All right, so here we have the properties here. So again, once they get the notice of default, it's typically at month 7. I want to kind of repeat what I said one more time. Once they miss about 7 payments, they get a notice of default. Again, that is typically after 7 months, but some banks, they are a little more flexible. They may not send that second notice after 7 months. All right, so again, total of 660 property owners that are under distress. All right, what I want to make sure that we do first, should you start to farm these type of homeowners, what you want to make sure that you do is to click into the property. All right, unavailable property. This property may be new, is in the process of being merged. All right, the other thing to keep in mind, guys, is that IMAP is being updated. They're going from the old system to the new system, but I don't think it's a glitch. What I think this is, we can't access this property because the person is protected class. I believe they're military. I say that I come from a military background myself, and I think that this person was potentially in the Navy, and whenever someone is, police, lawyer, etc., their records are not accessible. So I think that we're seeing a little bit of the information, but we can't jump in there and then actually see it. So we're going to need to go down to number 2, property 1161 Northeast 204 Terrace, Miami, Florida 33179. We should be able to access this property. So if we want to potentially reach out to the homeowner, we're going to click on it, and I want to make sure that you guys look at a couple of things. As I mentioned, if they receive their first notice, you're going to see a section here that says foreclosures. That other property that was unapproved that we did the original comparable for, they did not have this because they didn't receive that very first notice called a lease pendants. This person did. That's why they showed up in the filter. So we have the case number. We have the filing date. However, this would be potentially a homeowner that we may have enough time to have the bank approve the property to be listed in the MLS because there's not an auction date. But again, we could represent that homeowner all the way up until auction date. At that point, we have to let go. And then of course, the bank and the plaintiff, which is the bank and the public, bid on the property on the following website. This is not done at county steps. This is done online at the website miamiday.realforeclose.com. We're going to circle back on this in a moment, but we're going to go back real quick. All right. Into the IMAP record. Always make sure that when you're trying to find a homeowner that you want to reach out to provide them with those 3 different options that I mentioned. A, you could refinance. B, if I am able to help you successfully sell the property, you could be re-eligible for purchasing property within the next 3 to 5 years. Or if you want to go off on your, if you want to try to sell it on your own with the bank, or if it goes to auction, you will not be requalified to purchase for another 7 years. So that's where we can provide those 3 different tips. Just make sure that you are always cognizant of an auction date if it's fast approaching. If you do decide to use IMAP, to filter for homeowners and create mailing labels, we cover that in the first IMAP class, but make sure that you sort the properties. Why do I say that? You're going to find some that may already have an agent trying to help them sell the property. You would want to go under results not sorted and then change that to MLS status ascending. What that will do is put any property owners that are under distress or they have a active listing with a realtor in the MLS, going to put those units at the top. And as you can see, we're getting a lot of a much larger picture. We have more active listings that are available here. We have a total of, let me go all the way down, there's a lot. Whew. Where does it stop? All right, it stops right at 68. There's a total of 68 single family homes on the market that are available for sale. Again, I'm showing you this as well if you want to search for additional short sales that are in the MLS. I think that this might be a better option. Why do I say that? In Matrix, it comes down to the listing agent marking it correctly as a short sale. But if you want to reach out to these homeowners, create mailing labels, you would want to unselect all of these on the market property. You're going to, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me go back. You're going to want to select all of these on the market properties, including going all the way down, anything that's under contract, meaning pending. You would want to remove them before you create mailing labels. You're going to want to remove these before you create mailing labels. Let me move my zoom bar real quick because it's in the way. You would click on hide selected. And then what that will do is, I'm not going to waste your guys' time clicking on 100 active listings, but you would just simply remove them prior to creating mailing labels. Should you want to create maybe a little marketing piece that you can send through the mail, letting them know that you can help them sell their property from there. But again, make sure that you remove all of these active listings, and then from there you can create mailing labels. All right, I think I got a question. Does it give phone numbers of the homeowner? I love that question. Only in the scenario, I do want to be honest, you can get phone numbers directly from IMAP, but that's going to be in a non-foreclosure search. If the phone number is available, if it's available, you would click on the property. And then if the phone number is available, you'll see it here in the top left corner. If you don't see it, use a service by the name of Remind. Remind will provide you, if it's available, all of the cell phone numbers of that home. From there, again, that's a different class for a different time. You would use Remind. Remind's going to give me cell phone numbers as to where IMAP is typically going to give me those landline phones if they're available. All right, perfect. So again, how did I do that search? I'm going to go back to the main menu. We went under foreclosure search. Again, this is where the homeowner still owns the property. All right, and then from there, we filter by lease pendants. Equal to, I say yes, filing date. You guys can go back maybe only to April. It's going to give you fresher homeowners that would give you more time. You could go back, for example, April 1st, these pendants. From there, select your type of property. Move that back down, single family homes, and you would conduct your search from there. All right, guys. All right, we're making fantastic time. We're going to go back into Matrix and let me show you even bigger. We're going to start a brand new search. I'm going to show you guys an even bigger list of property that are maybe not under distress. For example, maybe it's not a short sale. Maybe it's not an REO property. All right. I want to show you those property in the MLS that may be needing a little bit of some additional repairs that are not necessarily under distress. I'm going to go under short sale. I'm going to say no. REO, I'm going to say no. And then we're going to use the remarks and sort from there. All right, Asaf asked a question. Give me 1 second. What do you say to them? Asaf, if you could explain the question just a little bit clearer. So I'm going to go ahead and put short sale no, REO no. And then under remarks, I'm going to tell the system, hey, just find me property that are good deals. There's different types of investors. There's investors where they would like to, for example, purchase a home that needs repairs, maybe some kind of tender loving care. And then once they renovate the property, they can flip it a little bit further down the road. So we're going to find those non-distressed deals, and you're going to find a lot more of those in the MLS. But we're going to search based on how the agent is describing the unit. We're going to go back real quick. We're going to do RES property type single family, type of property single. All right, we're going to go back to remarks, and then I'm going to say, hey, let's see how they're describing the property. We're going to do a wildcard search. Every search term that we enter needs an asterisk before and after. So I'm going to tell the system find me property that are TLC, meaning tender loving care, an asterisk. I'm going to put a comma. I'm going to put in handyman, again, asterisk, handyman, asterisk, comma. I'm going to search for other properties as well that maybe need some repairs, asterisk repair. I'm going to just put repair instead of repairs because that's going to include both repair and repairs if I leave the S out. And as you can see, there is more deals, 174 listings in the MLS where the home needs some kind of modifications in order to, renovate the property. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to look at the 174. I'm going to click on results. All right, perfect. All right. What is not a good deal is a property listed at 37 million. Let's go to list price, flip that. All right, and here we go. Now we have even more deals, as you can see. All right, what we're going to kind of do is we're going to use one of these subject properties in order to create a valuation report that's provided in RPR. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is let's look at, move down a little bit. All right, I want to do this one right here, priced at 250,000, 1,519 square feet for the living area. It is a 3.2. Let's go ahead and click on the listing number. All right, this one's in Vero Beach. All right, okay. Here's what I want to do. Let's go back into criteria. I did forget. Let's look local. Let's look a little more in Broward and Miami-Dade. All right, let's go back into results. Go. All right. Let's look at, I like 3.2s, so let's focus on 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms. Let's look at this one. It's been listed for 126 days in Plantation. They did lower the price as well. That's a good sign. Let's click on that listing number. All right. No attachments. Let's try to see what's going on inside the property. Doesn't look too bad. Let's keep going. I don't see anything screaming at me. May have been already renovated. Hold on real quick, though. Let's go through the photos. Let me also move down. Let's see what they're saying in the remarks, how this got picked up. Floor needs TLC. So they're saying the flooring needs tender loving care. Kitchen floor is new. Large community center with frequent entertainment. All right. Low monthly fees, including exterior painting, roof replacement, cable, heated pool, common grow. Ooh, this might be a good deal. Wow. Well, okay. Here's the thing, though. It's in a 55 or older community. That is something to keep in mind. All right, let's move down though real quick. Tax association fees, tax amounts up, 5,624. Association fees 488. Tax year being paid as of last year. All right, let's go back up real quick. All right, that may not be a bad deal. They're saying that they need some flooring. All right, let me go over here real quick. Let me just try to double check some of that. Okay, here we go. I see it. There we go, right there. Okay, so we're going to say, hey, the flooring needs to be redone. Okay. All right. So we're going to use this prop. There's another one. Okay. So it's not in bad condition. We just need to redo some of the flooring. Priced at $369. Let's go ahead and access RPR. This is another place you can access RPR to figure out their market value of the property. Let me go ahead and open that up real quick. And they're saying the realtor valuation for the property is at 371 based on a 5-star rating, which is great. They're saying that the property is kind of where it is based on the asking price. We might be able to turn this into a deal. They're saying properties in the area at the lowest are selling at 360 and up to 382. This might be a good property. It is a 3.2. Square footage is 1,398. Decent lot size at 2,250. All right. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to use this as our subject property. This is going to be in the scenario that our investor says, hey, I want to, figure out how much it's going to cost to make those repairs and how much I might be able to make if I decide to flip the property. All right. So RPR has a beautiful report that you can use by the name Evaluate, and you can perform a valuation on any property. It doesn't have to be listed. It can be off of the market. All right. So to access that valuation, you're going to move down to the section Additional Resources, and then you're going to click right here where you see Evaluate. All right. I'm going to go ahead and click on Evaluate. Perfect. And there's different ones that you can do. You have a long-term hold analysis. All right. This is the one that I'm going to do in the commercial RPR webinar. You have a multifamily unit mix summary. This is the one that we're going to use, which is the residential flip analysis, meaning they're going to purchase. It's going to let us know how much they would offer as far as a price. It's going to let me know also how much they would get if they purchased in cash and if they purchased also using a loan as well, and an option further down the road to refinance. But again, we're not going to do refinancing. This is a quick flip. We're going to hold on to the property. We're going to repair it. We're going to go ahead and put it on the market after 6 months. All right, so we're going to go ahead and click on continue. All right, perfect. This is going to take you directly into the valuation report. First thing you want to make sure that you do is that the system marks it as a single family residence. And then you can create 2 different reports. You have flip or long-term hold. This is going to be a flip analysis. We have the property address under property name, scenario name. We could repurpose that and then put something else. I'm going to go ahead and go under scenario name. I'm going to say something like the name of my investor. I'm going to say that this is for Lionel Messi investment. All right. We have square footage right here. Purchase price at $369. But again, my job is to show you also mechanically how you can change this information. This is the asking price that's coming from the listing. For example, maybe we offered instead of $369, maybe we offered $360. Again, you can modify the purchase price. However, we need to include potentially full year holding costs. Again, we're not going to hold on to it for more than 6 months. We're going to put it on the market for 6 months, but we may want to consider it could take some additional months in order for someone to want to maybe buy the property. So we want to include anything that is this, potentially a debt during the hold, including, for example, taxes, association fees, and of course, if we do decide to turn on the water, right? Water as well as electricity. These are different types of expenses. Another thing to keep in mind is if we're going to have someone maintain the property during the hold. Now, we're not in this scenario, we're not going to pay anyone to maintain the property. This is going to be done directly by the investor. So what we're going to go ahead and do is add the association fee, the tax amount. Again, this is monthly association fee. I want to be very, very specific. All right, we're going to go ahead and say that the hold of the property, we're going to go ahead and set aside a total amount. Again, I'm ballparking it roughly around $8,500 for a full year holding costs. Our fiscal year 1, this refers to at what period the investor is going to purchase. I'm going to say July 1st of 2024. And we're going to need to redo the flooring on the property. So we're going to say we're going to hold on to it for 6 months, renovating the property. All right. And as I mentioned, the valuation report that you provide to your investor will also include if they were to purchase using, for example, a loan. I'm going to go ahead and say, just as an example, 50% cash down, and then we're going to take on a loan as well. This part needs to be changed. We have an interest rate at 5%, but of course, the bigger, I want to be very clear, the bigger the amount that you're putting down, right, that affects the overall interest rate. So we'll fluctuate it roughly around 7%. And then the number of equity players, that refers to how many investors are going to purchase the property. Is it going to be 1 investor, 2 investors, or 3 investors? Why is this important? If there's multiple people, purchasing the property using a loan, it's going to provide the loan split. So I'm going to say, just for this one, only 1 investor. I'm going to click on submit. All right, and this is going to give you the absolute best case scenario. I don't want to, confuse anybody. We're not going to go over this yet. Instead, what we need to do is itemize the purchase. So I'm not going to go over this yet. I don't want to confuse anybody. We're going to go under the section purchase sale. This is where we have to itemize our renovation budget, closing costs on the property, potential compensation splits before we even figure out if this is a good flip or not. All right, Sam Hakim, he said, how did you get into the flip analysis? Is it RPR? Yes. So what you would do is, if you're following along, guys, you would go into the property. and then you would click right there, the real RPR property report. Scroll down on the right, you're going to see the value option. All right, so we're going to keep going. All right, from there, what we need to do is include the renovation budget. How much is it going to cost for us to redo the flooring? I'm going to also assume that we may need to do some additional patchwork. So we're going to kind of ballpark it a little bit. I'm going to say to the system, it's going to cost roughly around, it shouldn't be more than this. I'm thinking around 35,000 on the renovation budget. All right, you're going to get a little notice if you do populate your renovation budget with the value that's going to require for you to, redo the flooring, tiling, any kind of patchwork in the home. You're going to notice it's going to give you this exclamation mark. That exclamation mark means that I need to go into the section cash flow, and then I need to tell the system at what point are we going to do those renovations. I'm going to do that in just a moment. We're going to come down to closing costs, and then I'm going to tell the system from here, we need to go ahead and put in closing costs. We're going to go ahead and put in for that 50,000. There you go. The system doesn't need the comma, it does it itself. Capital reserve escrow, we're not going to put anything there, but I want to explain what that is. That is if you are setting aside money in order to do any kind of renovations or repairs after the first year of holding on to the unit. So we're not going to put that there. We instead put that amount under the section renovation. All right. As you notice, though, our numbers, they're going to change if all cash and if with debt. It's going to change, but we're going to come down here. It's going to continue to go down because I need to enter now potential compensation. I'm going to say 6%. Again, our numbers go down. Recording fees, miscellaneous. I'm going to go ahead and put in 1% for recording fees. Transfer tax, usually roughly around 1%. And now our numbers make a little more sense. Okay. Source of funds, we don't go over this in the flip, but source of funds will allow you to go ahead and include within your report if your or your investor was to refinance the property maybe a couple of years down the road. There is an option under that under source of funds. I'm going to jump into that in the commercial RPR and explain how to change the source of funds. All right, we're going to keep going. Again, we have that little exclamation mark for the renovation. We need to go into cash flow. And then in the report, I need to explain when we're going to do the renovations. So I'm going to say month 1, we're going to knock out 20,000. You could put the whole thing if you want, but I'm going to say month 2, we're going to finish the renovation of the unit. And then you'll notice right there, your little exclamation mark went away because you told the system at what point are you going to do the renovations. All right, from there, we're going to jump into levered analysis. This not much to do here. Again, this is a full report that your investor would receive. There's not much to do here. Essentially what this does is it lets your investor know if they were to take on a loan, the transaction capitalization, again, the equity, meaning the 50% down for the cash, and then 50% towards the loan. We have the levered analysis, including the purchase price, the interest rate, the loan to value as well, and source of funds located here on the left. We're going to go ahead and click on home. All right, perfect, guys. All right, and then from there, under home, this makes a little bit more sense. It's going to let us know here, section purchase. This is going to be at the point that the investor buys the property. It's going to give the square footage, the lot size, the bedrooms and bathrooms, their purchase price. Again, we went underneath the asking. We did 360. We have the price per square feet and a sale recommendation after the hold, listing the property at roughly around potentially 540,000. Again, if you want to submit this report, it's letting us know the cash that we're going to be able to make off of it if we were to sell the property, renovate it. The total gain would be 61,950 if with cash. If with debt, 54,179. If you want to provide this report directly to your investor, there's a couple of ways to do that. You have share located there. Share will allow you, if you want, to hide the purchase price. I wouldn't suggest to do that. I would include the asking price within the report, and then you can share them a link. Now, they can start either on the home page or they can start on the levered analysis. I would start them on home, but you can have them go directly into cash flow, purchase sale. You would just simply click on share file. That's going to provide a link. I did run out of links, guys, unfortunately, but it's going to provide a link that you can text directly to your customer, and that's going to give them access to the report. Or if you want to include an actual PDF of the report that you create, you would go under File. From here, you would go down to File, click on Export. Again, File, Export, and then PDF. And then you can provide the report. It will download directly to your computer. That's going to allow you to send the report directly to your customer. Whoops, I don't know why I did that. There you go. That's going to include all of the information that we discussed, including at the time they purchase, the recommended sell price, levered analysis, should they take on a loan. Not much to go here. This is if there's multiple investors purchasing using the loan. That's going to give them their split from there. I believe I got a question. All right, what about if the loan has upfront points? That won't allow, it's not going to allow you to modify, but you could potentially go into the section source of funds. There is a option to modify that information from there. All right, guys. Forgive me, I do have another webinar in about 5 minutes. That is going to be the commercial RPR. But there's one more thing I want to make sure I go over. If you ever want to, for example, register an account with Miami-Dade directly to see whenever a bank, for example, whenever a bank submits an offer on a property, let me go ahead and I'm trying to sign in. There you go. All right, so this is the website. For example, a homeowner, they lose their property. It is now the auction date has vastly approached. You don't go to county steps. The bank does not go to the county steps to bid on the property, and an investor does not go to county steps. Instead, they go here, which is miamidade.realforeclose.com, in order to bid on those properties. Here, you can bid on properties that are being foreclosed on, and an investor can also bid. They would go to place bid. They also have the ability to place bid on taxes. A homeowner that is behind 2 years on their taxes, those taxes are sent directly to the county, and the county auctions off those taxes, and potentially an investor can purchase those taxes and put and I say this respectfully, a potential lien on the property.